What's going on, people? Today we're going to talk about something a little different. We're going to get into personal development and how personal development makes you money, makes you a lot of money. And the reason that personal development makes you money is it unblocks your creativity, it unblocks your special whatever it is about you, because most of us are in need of a strong personal development program and are unaware of it. And I'm going to explain that and a whole lot more. And this is Glendon Cameron, founder of Hustlers Kung Fu University, where your real financial education begins. Let me show you something, because we made some updates to the website and make sure we got all the sound off. So let me show you what we're doing here. Oh, that is kind of crazy. Hold on. I thought that was going to work, and apparently it is not working. So let's go ahead and make sure that it works, because I really want you guys to get this. That is just amazing. So for the folks who are coming in, today's topic is about personal development and how that will improve your life. All right, so let's make sure that that is clicking. As you can see, I've changed up some of the stuff on the front page. Hustlers Kung Fu, where your real financial education begins. Business, economics, direct response marketing. And you can get all that at www.hustlerskungfulifeskills.com. I'm going to start off here. Matter of fact, let me go here. And Uberman. I was watching this today, and it was just like, dude just really brings it out. Because I don't even know, I was in one of my other email accounts, and I'm going to put this here. Let's just take the sound off. Okay, this is the video. He gets super real. Long story short, he was abused. His father was a maniac. His father is still alive. He's somehow sorted that out. And I was just listening to his story, because he's just laying it out because he needs someone to talk to. And I'm leaving this up there because be sure, carve out some time in your day to listen to this, because often when we're living, we tend to not be really aware of how good or how bad that we had it, because he gets into some really scary stuff. Because, I'll talk about my experience. My mother was massively dysfunctional. However, she was fundamentally a good person. He didn't have that. His father was a maniac. His mother was crazy. And it got me to thinking about the good and the bad of my upbringing. The bad, she was dysfunctional. She didn't know how to handle money. The good, my grandmother was there until I was 11, and I got some solid principles, some solid upbringing, and I have these personal virtues that were instilled in me as a child that have helped me become successful. And I really thought about that, because a lot of people don't. And before we get too far, let me make sure that I got some people up in the chat room. Make sure my mods are here, because this may bring out some craziness. I think Patty should be around here in a minute, but I will be watching out. Let's see, since you're here, we're going to make you a mod, just in case the craziness comes. Because the reality is, when you deploy personal development, it changes your life. And I had to, after watching his video, because I was just like, good Lord, this is terrifying. I mean, as a little kid, his father punched him in the face. If you have out there, if you've had a family member or a mother or father literally punch you when you're a little kid, That didn't happen to me. I didn't have that kind of stuff happening. And he was molested. I'll tell you a story. And this is why Arnold Schwarzenegger is one of my personal heroes. There was this Eagle supermarket in Adamsville, Alabama. And I used to go up there and they had this big magazine rack. And I used to look and stare at flex, muscular development. And there was always these big pictures of Arnold on there. And I was like, I want to be like that. I want to be big and strong. So I started lifting weights. But we were not poor, but So I had a bucket of cement that I used for curls. I took an axle that I found on the side of the road, put that in a tree to do pull-ups. So I was very, very strong as a kid. Well, one of the family friends attempted to molest me. I was able to fight him off. Now, part of that goes back to personal development. I saw Arnold and I wanted to be built. I wanted to be big and strong. So that seed of personal development saved me from being molested. There are people, and I'm not going to make jokes about it. I'm not going to be disrespectful about it, but there are people out there who've been molested by a family member as a child who are carrying this pain to adulthood. You've got little kids who were penetrated, who were abused. And I don't know what that feels like. I know that what he tried to do to me scared me. And I was just like, I don't want this. Get off, get off, get off. And we were in my yard. And it was funny because I was near the pull-up bar because there was this pine trees that were in the front yard. And this pine tree, it forked. So that created my pull-up area. And I was like, if I have to get this axle, I'm going to go across your head. And he backed off and he went home. And there ain't no telling how many of my friends he molested. We'll never know. But personal development is super important. Physical personal development, mental personal development, I think is 30, 40, 50 times more important than physical personal development. Because you keep your mind sharp, you could be making money when you're 80, 90 years old. And I'm not talking about a little bit above Social Security. I'm talking about Warren Buffett kind of money. Warren Buffett is 80-something, 90-something years old. Milton, his partner, once again. And a lot of these, Carl Icahn, Bloomberg, all of these guys are past 60 making that money. So that was my first seed of personal development. That was the first thing that created lift, that created opportunity for me. And speaking of opportunity, we're going to get into some opportunities for you. And I'm going to do it because I've been trying to figure out how can I do this and, make it easy on myself. So this is how I'm going to do it. All right. Make sure that this is on. I'm going to go to the coupons. Now, this is for the folks who are here right now. Let's see. Let's get rid of that one. Create a coupon. So what I'm going to do is percentage. I'm going to go 40% off of all products. I'm just going to go 40%. And I'm going to set the quantity at 20. So the first 20, let's go 40. Whoa. Let's go 40. No, let's do 50. All right, so the first 50 people, let's see. You can use this code of 40%, and you can you gotta make sure you spell it right. Make sure, there we go. Save coupon. So put in this coupon code when you sign up and you get 40% off any course that is on this site. And this is only available during the live stream, and all of the links of the courses are under the video. You will be able to, all right, access these bundles, anything you want, you can get it during the live stream. But you got to get it during the live stream, because the minute that I turn the live stream off, we will be bouncing. And I suggest that you use your 40% off on the Superior Mindset bundle, because we're going to be talking about that. We're going to be talking about that. There's so many things that we're going to talk about, and I'm going to get back into a little bit more about me. So as Randy was going on, I started to really think about my life from a different vantage point, because I got off into the storage auction business, right? There was the Youngbloods. Now, Mr. and Mrs. Youngblood. Mrs. Youngblood, she would hold garage sales out of this commercial building. It was a steel structure building. And I used to hang out there with her. She let me hang out, move stuff, pay me a few dollars. Little did I know that stuff was being imprinted on me. I didn't just come across storage auctions. When I was in my formative years, I was exposed to resale, because she used to do it and she used to make really good money. But I didn't really understand, because I didn't know how much money she was making. And Mr. Youngblood, he owned a trailer park. He sold new trailers, and he was a developer. He had all this big machinery where he would grade land. So that guy, like, you know, I would say, I'll give you visual aids. And I'm going to show you just how close this was. So just for visual aids, this was our house. And you come down here, and I mean Youngbloods. All right. It was so close that I could literally leave our house full speed and be down there before I started breathing hard. That's how close they were, right? And I didn't really understand the imprinting that was going on. Now, another part was Simmons Machinery. Was a little bit up. Now, Simmons was heavy duty developer. He had not one but two helicopters, and I actually got to go up in one. I didn't understand what that exposure did to me. I had no clue, because all these little seeds were being planted. I didn't get here because, oh, you know, I just got lucky. It was systematically set into play because of the things that I got exposed to as a child. So the first lesson of personal development, if you're a parent, you need to expose your kid to as many things as possible. You need to take them to the museum. You need to have them in art. If you need to figure out a way to afford for them to play a musical instrument. Those little things can loom so large later on in life. All right, so let me check the chat room, make sure that we're still on point. All right. Okay. So another thing, and I have a question for you people, and it may be very sensitive, and if you don't want to answer, I totally respect that. How many of you have been molested? If you want to share. If you don't want to share, and I'm not going to put you on the carpet, how many of you have been mistreated as children? Just put that in the comments, because one of the things that I know, and it's going to be hard, but when you speak about it, you free yourself. Secrets, and I don't know who said this, because I didn't say it, but I think it's one of the truest things I've ever heard. Secrets makes cowards of us all. You all know I have a situation with the mother of my child. She's not acting right. And she even came up here on these live streams, showing that, you know, she's pretty much crazy, right? Now, what if I had never told anybody about that? Which is what many men do. Men either overly confess, like everyone is like, oh man, she dogging me out, she taking me to child support court, or they say nothing. Since I put that out there, and all of you know, and I even created a course to help other men due to my pain, when she came, it was a little disturbing for about 12 hours. Now imagine if I had never talked about that, and she came in and she was doing all this stuff. I've been freaked out for weeks. Because I talk about it, it pulls the power out of it. I get to shape my narrative of truth in my experience versus living in fear of, oh, she may tell somebody. Oh, she may do this. Oh, I don't know how many dudes are living in fear of what she may do because they don't want to step up and handle their responsibility. And when I'm not talking about just paying child support, I'm talking about going to court and fighting that stuff. I think child support is garbage. And I think two people who have a kid should be able to sit down and work it out. But due to the court systems, which are fundamentally unfair to men, and it's changing, that this gives women a lever to extract pain and money out of you while not allowing you to see the kid. I think that is terrible. And there's a lot of men who commit suicide, become alcoholics, suffer post-traumatic stress disorder from going through the court systems. But because I talk about it, it keeps me mentally healthy. So when you're talking about this stuff, I'm not trying to just play with you, because I think personal development is very, very important for your mental environment. Because let's say, how does personal development make you money? Well, if you work on yourself, and I'm going to explain the syndrome, it happens to a lot of men. You didn't have a father in your life, so you spend a lot of time thinking about what if. Now, I'm not to say this, I don't want to be dismissive, but as a kid, if you know your father is dead, that solves a lot of problems. It's like, he's dead, he couldn't be here. We don't have to think about it, we don't have to worry about it, he was dead. But if he's alive, or if you don't know he's alive, you're always thinking. Or in the case of people who didn't know who their father was, what does he look like? What is his personality? This consumes a lot of mental energy that could be used to start a business, because it's deep, it's personal, it strikes you at your core. But, you know, people don't want to talk about it because we as a society feel that we should protect women, even when women are doing misdeeds such as having kids and not telling that kid who the father is. Or they may not know because they were being promiscuous. That is really, really hard. Now, I will tell this. My mom, she had 3 kids out of wedlock. My sister didn't know who her father was until I told her. She never told her. And my sister is messed up. I've talked about this before, and why there's such a wide variance in behavior and success level between us. That's part of it. Because how many of you who don't have dad in your life at some point woke up in the middle of the night crying about that? How many? It's real, it's deep, it's common, and it's a problem. It really is a problem. So let me get in the chat room real quick, because I figure this is going to be lit up today. What's up, Johnny Walton? What's up, Demetra? What's up, Peel Commerce? Raquel, Kendall Vision, Diana Thompson, Demetra Smith. Thank you, Raquel. Ray Owens, what's up? What's up, Erica? Apex, what's cracking? Mood Motivation, Patches 301. Oh, you hadn't been here in a while. Archangel, Tasha, what's going on? Patty's in the house. What's up, Just Cash Out, Rona Stockard, Sarah Na 7, Aaron, Mr. Macmillan, Raka Saka, Arnold is the man, Charlene McKinney, Christian Amerson, Tanya, Yolanda Tross, This Dude Bakes, what's up? You walked into personal development. What's up, Golene? What's up, Lance? Cody, Corey, Tasha. Abuse is so real, and the emotional damage unaddressed can affect a person in a negative way if they let it. Very true. Coupons, I'm all ears. Man Can Enterprises. Amen. You also had a strong mindset as a child too. Personal development is everything, and it starts with the parents or some older person instilling pride and self-value in a child. I agree 100%. Rona, we'll talk about that later. Don't want to get off topic. And I just went too far. Let's see where we're going. Good Lord. Rockstone. Facts. Glendon let's see. Let me hit that. Facts. Glendon. Pervasive internal abuse transmutes that. Joe Garrod, Diana Nalat, Jackie Ryan, probably better than Larry Bird. Can't see from my phone screen. The code is 40%. It's the number 40 and percent spelled out. Wow, Patches, sorry to hear that. What's up, D. Coleman, Ricky Carmen? Mancan Enterprises. The damage of abuse and molestation well into adulthood is a beast to overcome. Still trying. I mean, it's real. And one of the things is that we have complicit adults that allow this stuff to happen and they know what's happening. Wow, Christian, Rana, Charlene McKinney, Diana, Stefan. Wow. More deposits. Me and my mom approve. Cartel 007, mistreated. Cody Wyman. It's important to make sure your kids are exposed to some kind of extracurriculars. I did piano by ear as a child and asked my parents for lessons after seeing the pianist in the band. What's up, Tanker Green? Ever since he inspired me to play and compose music. I mean, it's really that deep. Peter, what's up? Oh, it ain't cool, man. It's not. Cody, yes, it is good to talk about fears and secrets. Just cash out, mistreatment. Both my parents are narcissists. Sorry to hear that. Tanya, child support is highly unfair. Women use kids as leverage because they control the man. True. What's up, Jasmine? What's up, Douglas? Irvin, my dad hated my mom. I don't know the particulars of that. If you care to share, please do. Douglas Jones, in my town, a woman went to the sperm bank. She only wanted a blonde, blue hair, and an athletic high IQ man. Wow. Stefan, I too realize all the unfair treatment men go through and how these people make jokes about boys who were attacked, especially when the attacker is a woman, from the start saying anything. Yeah, a lot of those teachers, which I still don't understand, who are sleeping with their students, they're going to jail. They're really going to jail. Let's see. Did I went. Mancan Enterprises. Had an entrepreneur spirit as a child with lemonade stand, reselling jewelry, door to door from two guys. Got molested for 3 years. It killed my self-esteem, and I wish I was dead most of. Wow. That's scary, man. I'm really sorry that happened to you. Archangel, I've always said that I was fortunate that my father died when I was 7. I never had to worry about why he wasn't there. I mean, that's real, because when adults are not telling you what's going on, your imagination is going to run crazy. Hot Song Beats. There is a serious issue with the lack of accountability in this country. No one wants to woman or man up after the kids suffer. That's true. I actually apologized to my daughter for the divorce because she got seriously messed up. Erica, when my parents divorced, my dad called us every day and spent summers with him. There were still times I wish he was there in person to tell him about my day. I mean, that's real. I personally don't think you can be a father part-time. I think that the 50-50 split where they're with the kids, the kids with the parents 1 week, I think that just works better. What's up, Short Change? She got that sperm bank. Her son came out like that. Glendon IQ, kick smart, quarterback, straight A student on the eve of his graduation on the way to a full ride Yale scholarship. So she had a designer kid. Louis the Seller, which is more mentally damaging? A father being absent from a child's life, or having a father around but never doing fatherly things or hardly talking to his children? I'm going to think not having a father around. If he's dead, then you know, but not having a father around can do a lot of damage. My dad was in Alaska and we were in NC in Tennessee military bases. Mom response versus dad response powerful. I had 5 uncles and feel sorry for others with just mom and aunts. Ouch. What's up, Maurice? Respect about divorce. After 14 years, now I had to rebuild. Charlene McKinney. I'm thankful my father was involved in my life, whether I desired it or not. Our relationship got better as I became an adult and had some real conversations. Which is tough because I hate to be vulnerable with all the suffering I went through in life because someone decided to snicker instead of help, and some parents beat their kids like slaves. That is a problem. When you see a grown parent cussing out a 2 or 3 year old, that's very sad. It's tragic. Douglas Jones, he jumped out the window of his mom's penthouse and died. It later came out that his mother steadfastly refused to even discuss the subject of who is my daddy. Well, part of that is a lot of shame. There's a lot of shame that comes with that. What's up, Shalise? Irvin, but I lived with him all my life, but kept nagging how bad mom was. What's up, Malcolm Brown? Cody, I was verbally abused by my mother, but she had a chemical problem with her brain and had to get Zoloft after I went to college. I may be headed down a similar road. What kind of road is that? That's cool, Charlene. Let's see. I don't want to go too far. The guitarist Santana's creativity is part fueled by his hidden molestation, but also made explosively angry till his first marriage and was able to heal and remarry. Wow. I didn't know that. I mean, this is a very common problem. Stefan, they're only going to jail when they get caught. Most people just sit around and tell jokes about how the boy was lucky. That is true. Ganji, people did me wrong. It's a job. I'm learning to move on. What's up, Quentin? There's a lot of rapists out there, Cartel, and the rapists are both male and female. It ain't just men. Russell, we're not talking about that today. Personal development has become a lifelong endeavor. It affects one throughout their lifetime. Very true. That's interesting, Charlene. Patches, the apology to your daughter would go a long way with her alone with being like, oh yeah, it went a long way. I mean, it solved a lot of problems. Apple Mac 5. My dad repeatedly cheated on my mom, and as a result, my mom completely turned my 2 older sisters against men. My younger sister died a virgin and never had a date ever. Wow. Coleman. It really is. Carto, I want a daughter. What do I do? Well, what you do is you get yourself together so you can raise her properly. Well, Cody, get treatment for that. Benny, hey Glenn, I'm always having negative thoughts. A girl looked at me the wrong way and I get so angry. How can I get to the point that I just don't? Benny, you need therapy. I'm not saying that to be flippant. I'm not trying to insult you. You need to find someone to talk to about that. You really do. All right, so let's kind of move off into the second stage of my personal development. Because the first stage of my personal development happened and I didn't even know it. I was exposed to resell. I was exposed to developers. There was this pharmacist. His name was Mr. Campbell. He used to let me hang around the store. I was exposed to business. So as I kind of go back and think about this business thing, even though I lived in a little small town, the people that I hung out with were business people. So it really, through osmosis and exposure, this is how this happened. Now, after I left and went into the military, then I kind of went to sleep. I was in the military. I was very patriotic. I was happy to be in the military. How many of you guys were in basic? And when you're like, your 6th week of basic, when you're operating as a unit, you're marching, you're singing those cadence and they're bouncing off the walls and you get it gets you all up in the fields. I was reprogrammed. It's simple. So I went through that, and essentially what changed the programming was me going through the divorce, getting laid off 3 times, and that third time it did something to me. I can't really accurately describe it, but it did something to me where I said, this ain't never happening to me again. And that's when I got into Earl Nightingale Lead the Field, Tony Robbins' Unlimited Power. And I started to journal and I started to meditate. And then I'll tell y'all, we just friends. I don't meditate like this anymore because it scared me. I was in a deep state of meditation in the boarding house because when I first started meditating, I was so stressed out that I would just feel woozy and lethargic because I would literally go to sleep. But I got past that. So I was reading this book, this magazine, Unti Reader. Dr. Linda Settle, she brought it into the emergency room one night. And there was this monk, this Buddhist monk, who used to meditate. And once he meditated, he used to meditate and he used to lift weights and he had a shaved head. It was real cool. He said after meditation, he could write all day. And I was like, okay, well, I want to be a writer, so I'm going to start meditating. And it was true. 10, 15 minutes, I'm good to go. But I was trying to do what he was doing. I was meditating for an hour, like 30 minutes. I started to see things. An hour, I really started to see things, and I've never done it again. I don't know what you want to call it. It's like I saw things of my future that were almost too good to be true. That's why it scared me so much. And I have not done that again. I may do it again now because I'm not a scaredy cat anymore. But one of the things that happened was I started to develop a lot of self-confidence because self-confidence comes from achievement. So I started to meditate, which was an achievement. I started to write consistently, which was an achievement. I was managing my little money that I had, which was an achievement. And achievement builds confidence. It really does. Let's see. My parents are still married. I do have a younger brother, but my dad didn't raise him. He was considered the outside child. So the dad I talk about, he doesn't know him like that because he denied him. What is an outside child? And I'm afraid to find out. Oh, I mean, they did. I mean, that's why they call them jarheads. If you don't know, the Marines are jarheads because they literally screw off their head, dump out the contents, and put all that Marine stuff in there. And that stuff sticks for life. Marines are a little crazy. They really are. All right. What's up, regular web guy? John Francis. I grew up in all my childhood life in foster homes, in groups home, and had a girlfriend murdered, had a place burned down, became homeless. I know I have issues trusting people and getting close. Well, I mean, it took a lot for you to say that because that's a lot for a kid to go through. But I don't know if you can take comfort, but there's so many people who are just like you, but won't talk about it. What's up, Kareem? Oh, yeah. In this outside of marriage. Oh, got you. Once again, to my women folk, y'all got to manage your wounds better. And I'm not saying you, but as a whole, I can understand one kid out of wedlock, fine. But 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, come on. Because this is what happens. And I really thought it was happening to me, but I look at my brother and sister. She didn't even know who her father was. And then my brother, he's got all kinds of issues, like massive issues. And it comes from those seeds of being there. And fortunately for me, I'm a communicator. I've always read in the writing. And if you have issues and you don't want to see anybody, you don't want to talk to anyone, I got a solution for you. You need to journal it out. You need to get a piece of paper. You need to write all that pain out. You don't have to show it to anybody. You can write it out. You can burn it when you're done. But it will help you. It really will. Dang. True, I had to train with Marines. They're beyond crazy. Okay, like I said, I didn't know. I didn't cheat on my wife when I was married. An accomplishment that I'm very proud of, even though that heifer needed. No, let's leave that alone. I should have. You know, this is something that happened. When I was in the military at Fort McPherson, we used to have Third Army reserves come in. Since I was regular Army, when they would train on the weekends and do drill, one of us had to be there. And there was this chick named Yolanda. Beautiful legs, beautiful girl, beautiful smile. Wanted myself a piece of Yolanda, but it never, our stars and stuff never aligned. Well, Yolanda starts working in Northside Hospital. And, you know, she's going through something with her dude. So one night, we're out where the people smoke because we used to take non-smoke breaks. And she just tells me, you know, I like you. You know, if you want to do those things, we can do it. And I'm like, no, Yolanda, I'm married. Don't ever speak to me like that. I wanted to so bad. I wanted to. She was just tasty, but I was married. Go home, have one of the worst fights we ever had. She's waiting on me. And I'm sitting there like, wait a minute. I'm doing what I need to be doing as a husband, but you are just so unhappy. And one of the things I did not realize was you can't fix broke people. My ex-wife was seriously broken. She had a lot of issues and stuff. And me being a faithful, hard work, that meant nothing. It meant nothing. You can't do the right things with the wrong people. I don't care how hard you try. It meant nothing. And it took me a long time to understand that because I felt so cheated. But she was broken before I even got to her. Oh, the journaling stuff is the truth. What's up, Rules for Rebel? Telling you, my sorry Southern slang. The child, cause yeah, I know a lot of people told me. You're funny. I use writing, G. It really did help me make changes to move forward. Because see, I'm gonna show y'all something. It ain't there yet. Let's see. Because I was up so late last night, screaming at the television. But it was a good scream. It was great. It was awesome. Oh, I guess if I put this in. All right, hold on a second. I need to put this in properly, or it's just not going to. I'll tell you. All right, it's tripping on me. But let's see. It's not Facebook. www. Hold on, I'm gonna get there. This is important. Hustlers Kung Fu Dojo.com. All right, I can't seem to get in there. I guess they turned it off. Oh well. But what I was going to tell you was I have a course, and it's not in Hustlers Kung Fu Life Skill. I will move it over there. Huh? This is hot in here. Let's see where we. Rockstone, so many beneficial jewels as Laura. The memory specialist says writing things down actually helps you forget. Well, it's a release. When you don't write it down, all that stuff builds up in you. What's up, Zola? What's up, Benny? Extremely toxic. Just cash out. Glendon, man, you had the vibe of like an uncle or older brother. Just thank you for putting out this info and talking with us. No problem, just cash out. I mean, one of the things is, and this is what I learned through my own personal journey and trauma, is once you start talking about stuff, you remove a lot of power. There's a lot of people who live in shame because of something that happened to them as a kid that wasn't their fault. And they live in shame of that. And that shame occupies a large spot in their mind and in their heart and their soul. And that literally holds people back. And that's what personal development does, is it helps you deal with that where you can be successful. I mean, it is like, It's not in Hustlers Kung Fu Life Skills yet, but there's going to be what I called scribbling. I forget the name of it, but essentially it's a course to teach you how to journal and how to journal with intention. So that's going to be coming. Like I said, 40 courses. It's going to be hard, but we're going to get there. And I'll be putting it out sooner or later. So for those of you who, let me just show the coupon up here. All right. You should be able to say that. So 40% off, because this will only be during the live stream and after the live stream. So 40% off at any course, you can have that. So just, all the links are below the video. All right, so I'll get rid of Uberman because it's killing my bandwidth. Charlene McKinney, what has brought on the emotional healing in my life was my parents reconciling, getting remarried after being divorced for over 20 years. That can be very real, Charlene, because when they divorced, that hurt you. So when they got back together, that made you better. I made you feel better. I can see that. No, Malcolm, you just can't. And that's something I had to learn the hard way. That's true, Benny. Seeing in, I wrote about what I wanted about my job last year after listening to you. Strange how you get the goals after they're on paper. What I believe, and I'm not 100% on this, but when you write down your goals, you release them. They come out of your mind, they come into the real world. What's up, Tanya? Thank you. Ample Mac. My mom also turned my sisters against me since I was the only male in the house. They would often tell me how my dad wasn't, and they finally got me kicked out of the projects at age 15. Dysfunction, and I'm really sorry that happened to you, but dysfunction is very powerful. Okay, John Francis. What's up, the Wild Jones Report? Personal development doesn't have a bad rap, but you got many people who really are not doing it right. What's up, Demetra? I don't know. You can always rewind and watch. Goleen, writing forgiveness letters from one of my courses has helped me with some of my issues. Thank you. Good deal. Rockstone, journaling led to me as a man thinking, leading me to the Nightingale, which brought up Hustlers Kung Fu channel in 2014. That's wild. I need to do some more stuff about Earl Nightingale because he really, really helped me. And that is kind of like the second stage of my personal development journey. And I had Earl Nightingale for about a year before I really started to do anything with it, because that's where I think a lot of you guys are. You're getting the information, but you're not doing anything with it. And until you get active, it's just information. And Earl Nightingale helped me get my job at Rent-A-Crate. He probably would like, no, because some of the stuff in there. But essentially, he had this section where he was like, the problem with most people is they don't think. And when I thought about that, I said, wow, that is deep. So I actually went home from that job that I got laid off of, and I actually thought, and I took pen and paper and I pondered. And that night, my head hurt because I was thinking, I was activating my brain. And 6 weeks later, I had a job that was making 3 times the money I was making, working 2 or 3 jobs. I had my own place. I didn't have a car, but that came later. And just because I changed my thinking, I changed my life. And it sounds like overly simplistic, but the execution of changing your thinking is very, very hard. It's really, really hard. Oh, yeah, Wild Jones Report. That was a beautiful thing. Tasha James, how can we be better at personal development? You have to make it intentional. You have to find yourself a program, or go ahead and buy Earl Nightingale. That will help you a lot. I'm in the process of creating one. You can also go for the Superior Mindset Bundle. I'll just throw this up there because there's so many issues that we as humans have. Let's talk about the big one. I feel fortunate that I have been loved in my life several times. Not some kind of, I just like him, but deep, passionate, crazy, over the top love. I've had that a few times in my life. Well, actually more than a few times. And I figured out why. When I felt that I deserved to be loved. I know that sounds really strange. And because I remember the first time it happened, I was about because my wife was not one of them. She wasn't even close to it. It was about 2 years into my journey, and I met this girl from Louisiana. And we were doing the things, and I went through my whole dating, mating things with her, and she was cool with it. And then I remember we were in Ruby Tuesdays in Decatur Square, and she was just sitting there, and she was looking at me funny. I was like, "What's going on with you?" She's like, "I just love you." And people who were around, and it was that moment. So I took her little hands. I said, "That's fine. I love you too." Because I didn't want to leave her hanging, because actually I lied. I didn't love her at that moment. I came to love her about 2 months later, but I didn't want to destroy the moment. And I think because I cared for her, but she was crazy about me. And when you've ever had someone crazy about you, you just don't, everything else pales in comparison. It really does. So part of what you need to do is figure out where you're broken, because everybody's not broken in the same places. That's why I think you have to experiment with certain things. But when you feel that kind of love and it's real, but if you're closed off, if you are hurt, if you have trust issues, you can have that kind of love in your life, but you don't trust it, so you don't feel it, if that makes sense. And there's a lot of people like that. How many people here can't take a compliment? Someone gives you a compliment and you go, "Oh, this old thing," and you just deflect it. More deposits. Sure, I saw myself becoming rich. I saw myself getting married again. I saw a lot of things that have happened, and I don't know if I was dreaming. It gets a little weird. It really does. Rona Stockard, Jim Rohn's the man. What's up, E-Pimp? Douglas Jones, when you write things down, a part of your brain calls the reticulating circle is activated. Well, I believe in that. The gumbo, Genesis, the gumbo got you. What are you talking about? Oh, the Louisiana chick. No, she was about 5'2", really tiny, about 125 pounds, with perfect breast and a really small waist and the cutest little butt you ever saw, and she was gorgeous. That's what got me. Let's see. I copped the 30 to 25 just before it got bundled with the Superior Mindset Bundle. I intended to get the Superior Mindset Bundle as well. Well, part of that is the lack of self-love, Johnny Walton. And part of this is some stuff that comes from our parents. If you grow up in a home where parents don't hug you, there are some people who are listening to this or will listen to, their parents never told them they were proud of them. You've got people walking around here where you have people who no one's ever said, "I'm proud of you," ever in life. And that stuff really accumulates. I could never take a compliment seriously. My father used to ridicule me as a child. Man never gave me compliments. Wow. Raquel, I deflect everything. Compliments only from the right people. Never know that love you speak of from female or family. It's that's why I feel pretty fortunate. Ganja, yes I am. Very much so. So let's get to the third stage of personal development. All right. So once you deal with your issues, which I did a lot of journaling. I burned about 20 notebooks. That was my life. That was my misery. That was my misfortune. That was a lot of stuff. Because in many aspects of my life, I was used because I always had a certain sense of direction, but I could never follow it because I always had people who depended on me. And that's one of the reasons that when I got out and I went real hard for business, because I knew that if I fell in love or I met a woman or something while I was on that journey, it was going to be a distraction or she was going to try to knock me off, because I don't know what it is. Well, I do know what it is. I had to change my energy, and I had to become bluntly honest early on in relationships, because when you are performing at a certain level, that draws people to you, and people who've never had anything. And I'll be real, I'm a good boyfriend. I'm a great boyfriend. And when you don't have that, like I will tell you, after we get through the gauntlet, there is a gauntlet. There are the trials of Hades to get with me. But after you get through that, oh, you gold. I mean, the things that I've done for the women who've made it through the gauntlet, the so-called, and I realized that a lot of women don't get treated like that ever. So it's kind of like this old Eddie Murphy skit. I'm gonna try to tell it to you because this is from Delirious. And Eddie was talking about Ritz crackers and steak. Like when you're out in the desert, when you're starving and you eat some crackers and you're like, oh man, these are the best crackers ever. They're Ritz, right? But really, when you look down, they're saltines, because you're so hungry that even the smallest thing is amazing. And I saw this in action. I was in the 25th Infantry Division, Schofield Barracks, Hawaii. We used to deploy to Korea. We had women in our unit, but I'm in Hawaii. Go to Waikiki Beach, see a bikini contest, see lovely women all over the place, right? So we were desensitized in my unit to the women because we saw better looking women on the economy, as we called it. Well, these guys who had came into Seoul, Korea from the DMZ, and they saw these girls look like models to them because they have not seen an American woman in months or up. I think one dude said it was 18 months since he saw an American woman. He said, yeah, you know, we got all these Korean things up there, but he said, I just love me some sisters. And I remember he went over, not to Jackie, I could see her face, but I can't remember her name. And he said, look, whatever you want to eat, I don't want to have sex with you. I just want to sit here and look and talk to you. Because he had been no longer desensitized. He'd been like wide open. So when you meet someone who's never had a certain thing and you give it to them, be careful. Be very, very careful. That's all I got to say. Stefan, I just decided to accept compliments and make an effort to trust people in 2013, but it still takes effort, especially with trust. Well, at least you're working on it. I mean, you may never resolve this issue, but you know it exists and you're working on it. That is a long, long way. So congratulations. Dimitri, when I would get compliments, I would think they were lying for any reason I can make logical. Wow. Peel Commerce. I got lead to feel on Audible after Glendon mentioned it on his previous one of the top 3 audio in my audiobook library. Johnny, I mean, that's unfortunately very bad parenting. You have a lot of people who do that. Lance, why did I burn my journals? Because I wrote the truth in there and I didn't want anyone else to read that. I mean, there was some horrible stuff in there. I wrote the unvarnished, naked truth about my life, the people in my life, and what they did to me. And I will tell you, I had started journaling. And, you know, during the thing when you break up with someone you're married to, you try to get back together. And this is one of those periods where we're back together. And my wife at the time found one of my journals. She held my journal. She came to me and she said, "This ain't you." It's like, yes, it is. No, that ain't you. The person in here is beautiful. That ain't you. You're a monster. And I was like, we trying to get back together. This conversation is not really helping. And she was so mad at what she read that I wrote about her. And then after that didn't work, I burned them. Because when you tell the naked truth, not some kind of truth, but the real naked truth of how you feel about a person, it's going to mess them up, because she just lost it. So that's why I burned the journals. Ganja, mine used to tell me I'm an idiot. Then again, I later learned from his mom left him and his brother because their father was sleeping around. Pamela C. compliment me all day long, baby. Yep, it's just a regular old cracker. I mostly received I'm proud of you from a narcissist, for I heard of the concept of a love bomb. Now only accept I'm proud of you from people outside my mother's side of the family. Wow. Seeing I have an accent and I'm not very eloquent, but I never had trouble getting women. Dude, that accent is like crack, man. Use it. What's up, Al Gordon? Welcome to the channel. The Genesis Project. I never wrote in a journal before taking Hustle Camp, and it's powerful to go back and reflect. Something new for me, but it's refreshing. Very good. Really, Lance? Yeah, I actually got my journals back. Usually that's the pattern, Ganja. Yes, indeed. Well, another thing about my wife, once again, she was broken. And she never faced the fact that she had issues. It was always someone else's fault. It was always this or that. But when you get real with yourself and you're like, okay, I am the problem, I got problems, that's like a huge relief. And I think these bad parenting, poor self-esteem is one of the major reasons that people become addicted to alcohol or drug. Rockstone, my 31 journals turned into titles, changing the people into different characters. This year I resolved to publish. What's up, Mo Grizzly? We're talking about personal development programs, Totalidrin. Johnny Walton, it was hard for me to see my parents argue when I was growing up, and every now and then they would get the funny, but they stayed together until I graduated high school. I mean, it's hard because in our society, we use the wrong criteria to get into relationships. Me, I was really guilty of the big booty thing, and I have conditioned myself where I actually don't like really big booties anymore. I mean, seriously, I really don't like that. And I changed my sexual response, which is pretty interesting now that I actually say that out loud, but I really did. I was 24. When you write a journal, you see the thinker behind the thoughts. Dustin Doyle, going through the Superior Mindset Bundle has clearly benefited me. Best investment so far for me. Good deal. Erica Williams, I read my ex-boyfriend's journal. You so bad. He said the most glowing things about my family and me, but then saw it was over in there too. Lesson learned, never pick up other phone journal. Jig, a life worth living is a life worth recording. I never heard that. That's pretty dope. Oh, it does. Expat Crypto. Young Brandon, being a stepchild, I noticed one of my step aunts treated me differently, saying things like, if Brandon got a job, you can definitely get one, or my brother getting present, but not me. It was funny. That's something else that adults do that they shouldn't. They pick the golden child. My brother was the golden child. He could do no wrong. And it's interesting how that went down, because the story went like this. When I graduated high school and I went straight into the military, my mom's like, hey, could you make an allotment for me? I think it was $100 a month that I did. And then we traded places. It was a very, very funny transformation. And then she got sick. Then I put her on my BAQ. And I did a lot of stuff. And for 3 years, that was the only source of income. To this day, he denies that. And I was going to go to Fort Lindenwood, it's somewhere in Missouri, and I pull up my W-2s because it's on the W-2s. And I was like, you know what? He don't want to believe that happened. Fine. He doesn't want to believe it happens. But I know it happens. In his heart, he knows it happens. But when it became his turn to take care of mom, he became bitter, resentful, and very, very evil. He did not talk to my sister for 3 years. That's what I mean about those issues. Cart 007. What if someone says they love you so much and you don't believe them? Most girls these days think that you only want them for sex and don't want to build. There's a way to make a person believe you, but you have to be believable, if that makes sense. Apple Mac. Oh, that's funny. That could be true, Erica. Tasha, see, my brother's the golden child. Expat crypto, yep, it was like that. And the thing is, that used to piss me off, right? But now I can laugh about it and I can talk about it because of the way things played out. Because things are still playing out. Here's the little hidden, dirty little Cameron secret. All of my success is from my criminal activities. I did not write a book. I did not create a YouTube channel. The money I have, the money that I got was illegally gotten because, and this is something my mom used to put out. She thought I was a criminal. No proof, nothing. It's just like, he ain't that smart. She said, now, this is the dysfunctional thing. She used to say, you know, you want S. She used to do this. And she never really knew me. She thought she knew me because a few days before she died, we were talking, and she had never heard me talk that way. And then she saw that I had the BMW, and she was just like, she looked at me with brand new eyes because I think she realized at that moment that she had failed me as a parent. And I actually think that's the reason she left. I really do, because she had to deal with some hard truths. And one of the things, like telling the truth and dealing with hard truths is very, very hard in the beginning. But after you get a year or two of it under your belt and you just be real with it, it becomes so much easy for you, but other people, it's still very difficult. Zola, Glennon, as an escapee from the Golden Child title, it was a title that kept me stationary long enough to be fed upon by my narcissistic mother. Totalitarian hologram. My life needs structure. I need to live according to a pattern. Do you know where to start? You need to find your purpose and determination. Mo Grizzly, I am the golden child. Well, what happened to me was, and I think to no fault of their own, a lot of these young ladies who are overbuilt or have big breasts or an extremely large rear, they're full of hormones. If you go back to Soul Train in the 60s and 70s and see how people were built and compare and contrast that to today, there's remarkable differences. And a lot of that is hormones in the food. And those hormones don't just make you grow a big booty, big breast, they impact your brain. So we got a lot of stuff going on out here. Jigga, what personal development book or course had the most impact on your life? The one that I created. I created my own personal development curriculum. Never really put it out, but that's the one, and I'm probably going to do that as a course this year. Well, pretty much. Good deal, Tasha. Thank Tanya. That's funny. And part of like stage 3 is when you are aware of your issues. Now, I got some issues that probably are never going to be fully healed. And I'm cool with that because I manage them. And then I think the next thing that happened was when I got back into fitness, because at one point I was really tight and I just let myself go. And then I started to, even that's a different process now. How I eat is a different process. And this is all personal development because when you get into short-term thinking, then you're going to get short-term results. If you want long-term results, you're going to have long-term thinking. And many people don't really talk or plan their lives. Rockasaka, I mean, it is a big problem. Rockstone, families an invisible chain after not getting gratitude for what I did for them to convince myself that I did with them is right. This year to free myself and Lily have mental funerals. Wow. The alcohol and drugs is how some became parents. Sad but true. Sad but true. So part of this whole thing is, and like I said, I'm going to put together my personal development process because it's a little different. And, I've done it for me, but I've never done it for anyone else. How to set goals. And this is something else too. Like Nick Saban. And I'm not going to get into the football thing, but I'm going to get into the personal development thing. Nick Saban does a lot of personal development of those young men. Because one of the things that I've seen, and I've seen this from watching him year after year after year, he actually cares about those guys. And a lot of people are like, oh, he's a high-paid coach. No, he really cares about those guys. When one of the linebackers got hurt, dude was crying because he wanted to play so bad. And then the guy that got hurt in the last game, Jenkins, he was on the stage in crutches. They got him out the hospital. They brought him to the game. I just know this because I know a few ex-Alabama players. It's like a fraternity. You play for Alabama. And part of that is why I think he's so successful because he really cares about them. And that's how he gets the most out of them because now when players come back and you see they're talking to him, he's glad to see them. He's glad they're doing well. It's a beautiful thing. And First Sergeant Branch, when I was in Fort Dix, he said this. And he said, those Class A's, he said, for some of you, those are the first suits you've ever had. And I thought that was funny. And I didn't laugh because, it's First Sergeant Branch. But now that I think about it, you know how sad that is? There are a lot of people who've never had a suit and they never had dress shoes. Never. I was dating this girl from France. And she had immigrated from Cameroon to France. And she told me one night she got her first pair of shoes when she was 8. So, for those of you who feel that your life is really bad, just think about that. All right, so let's see where we are with this stream. Okay. All right, so what I'm going to do, for those of you, I'm going to go here again. And I'm going to explain some stuff to you. All right. Oh, the way this is, 40%. I'm going to leave this for because the stream goes on. So I'm going to leave this for 30 minutes to an hour so you can still get 40% off. And then I'm going to shut it off. Because there are people who are just joining the stream and they haven't got to this point yet. So use the code 40%, spell 40%, 40 the number, then percent spelled out. And you can get any one of these bundles for 40% off right now. You can get this, you can get this, you can get this, you can even get that. You can get this, anything that's here, you can get for 40% off right now. And then, like I said, 30 minutes to an hour, I'm going to shut it off. So there you go. True, Stefan. Demetria, I believe guilt is an underrated topic. A lot of people don't know that they feel guilty for being guilted. Very much so. Well, Tanya, I think you can go back and fix that because you're aware. That's very, very important. All right, so what I want y'all to do is to get on the Text Notification Squad. Be sure to subscribe and slap that subscribe button. I'm going to do an email list for my foreign people because the text notification doesn't work for them, but that isn't ready yet. I'm trying something new. All right, so today is Tuesday. I'll be back probably 8:30, 8 or 8:30 in the morning. All right, so with that, I'm about to bounce. Thanks for joining me this afternoon, and I will see you guys later.